So Jesus Christ was resurrected on the Sabbath. Scriptures were changed to say that Jesus was risen on the first day of the week instead of the Sabbath. So in each area here, the scriptures where it says that it was on the first day of the week, it doesn't actually say that. Okay. So Strong's definitions, numbers given to each word. So G3391 is Mia, a certain, and G4521 is Sabbath, or Sabbaton, which means Sabbath. So Matthew 28:1, in the end of the Sabbath as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week. Well, it doesn't actually say that. See the word day? Right here it's italicized. Well, they italicize words that they add. Day is not there. It's not in the scriptures. Okay. So it says, late in the Sabbath, as it drew on among a certain Sabbath. Here it is again, the first day of the week. They. No, a certain Sabbath. They. Now when Jesus was risen early on the first day of the week. No. Moreover, risen. Moreover, when he was risen early, the first in the Sabbath, because Mark 16:9, this in here, this is talking. First here is proi, or protos, first in rank, because he goes in to describe events that happened that Sabbath. Now upon the first day of the week, Luke 24:1. Now a certain Sabbath. Okay, John 21. A certain Sabbath cometh Mary Magdalene. John 20:19. Then the same day at evening being a certain Sabbath. All of them, Acts 20. And in a certain Sabbath, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached to them. And then it goes on to say he preached to them until midnight. He was going to leave early. He was going to leave the next day. Well, the next day ended at sunset because it was a Sabbath. He was going to leave at sunset, which is a Sabbath. But he continued on to preach until midnight. Okay, and then 1 Corinthians 16:2. Throw out a certain Sabbath. It doesn't say the first day of the week. You see that 45:21, that's a Sabbath, okay? Strong's 45:21 is Sabbaton. It means Sabbath. It doesn't mean week, okay? It's the Sabbath, a certain Sabbath. So, nobody seems to care. Jeremiah says the prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests, they rule by their own hand. And my people love to have it so. But what will they do in the end? That's kind of scary. So Jesus Christ was crucified on Nisan 14. About the 9th hour, his spirit left his body. At sunset, about 3 hours later, is the first day of unleavened bread. That's the Sabbath. That was the Sabbath, not the weekly Sabbath. It was the Sabbath of unleavened bread. But on the 7th, there are 12 hours a day. Are there not 12 hours in a day? So the 9th hour of 12 hours is when his spirit left his body. That's when the time starts. 3 days and 3 nights later, 72 hours later, son of Jonah, Jesus Christ is risen on Nisan 17, which is the 3rd day of unleavened bread, which is the weekly Sabbath. It was the 7th day Sabbath, at about the 9th hour, as recorded in Matthew 28, which was the 7th day Sabbath. And late in the Sabbath, as it drew on among a certain Sabbath, came Mary Magdalene. Okay. The change to the first day of the week happened after the 7th day Sabbath resurrection of Jesus Christ, which is recorded in Matthew 28:11 through 15, and it was done by the chief priests and the elders. So now while they were going, because remember, everything happened in the Sabbath, that evening during the daytime, okay? Late in the Sabbath as it drew on among that Sabbath. It's when everything happened in the 9th hour. Behold, some of the guard came into the city and reported to the chief priests all that had happened. When they had assembled the elders and they consulted together, they gave a large sum of money. So by the time this happened, it was after sunset, and therefore it was the first day of the week. So that's why they said, tell them his disciples came at night, first day of the week, and stole him away while we slept. It didn't happen that way. They fell as dead men. It was during the daytime when it happened. And as this comes to the governor's, we'll appease and make you secure. So they took the money and did as they were instructed, and this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until this day. And Paul said, hey, one is not a Jew who is one outwardly, but inwardly. So Jew means praise of Elohim, and it comes from the word Judah. Jesus is from the line of the tribe of Judah. So if you're born again spiritually, you're in the tribe of Judah, and that is what is commonly reported today. So the resurrection had happened during the day at about the 9th hour of the 7th day Sabbath. Chief priests and the elders are the ones who started the first day of the week lie. They're the ones who did that. So Deuteronomy, you shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh your Elohim, which I command you. So that is what has happened. Why doesn't anybody care? So that's pretty serious, because Zechariah talks about that, about the consequences of what's going to happen. It's going to take the tribulation to wake people up, because nobody cares that it's a lie.